Aircraft carrier's deck department is responsible for the cleanliness and preservation of the exterior of the ship below the flight deck. Other duties include the operation, care, and maintenance of the ground tackle, lines, towing lines, and ship's boats, as well as anchoring, mooring, fueling, and replenishment at sea. Midway's folks had a reputation as one of the best kept spaces.
Oh, no, I wasn't the first.
A ma jeszcze to często znak. Pełny parking. Berlin.
Tu jest, tu tata wyprowadzał tutaj. Poczekaj, siądę sobie.
O, siadaj.
This bank has 4 guns.
To można wejść do samolotu chyba. O, to tam się zrobiło. A to kolejka tam jest. Tak? No. A ty tak, poczekaj. Przechodzić dalej. Tu nadal nisko.
A tam tylko
Nadal
do
nisko.
góry idzie?
Co?
Czy to jest tylko bariera?
Gdzie do góry? No, ten nas czeka.
A, to jest tylko to łączone.
No, jeszcze wyjść nadal.
Znowu Andrzej by się tu nie zmieścił.
Nie chcę im zapalić, bo tu mają odpięty kabel.
Musisz zdjęcie zrobić.
No, to siedzenia w liniach lotniczych. No, ile miejsca na nogi mieli? Nie ma okna. Tego okna brak.
Tak, i okno jest. Ale tu by wszedł ze mną.
no, no, no.
We have to wait. We have to wait. What's next? Do these propane
A tu było wyrzutnie katapultu.
No. Wszędzie do tych dolnych otworzą. Patrzę. Jesteśmy. Mariusz pilotuje helikopter. Urwiesz. Pawła wciągnie do silnika zaraz.
Do 17.
We're on a big deck ambulance.
You can put that on your back, backpack. Where I'm from, the river rat country. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. My name's Randy. One of the docents on the tour guides up here. So we're going to spend about 15 minutes together up here. So we're in primary flight control, air traffic control tower. While we're up here, probably the most important thing to do, get some great pictures of across the bay, and cycle up, get your picture made in the boss chair, mini boss chair. Once you've got your pictures made, move out and let the next group jump in there, please. So the air boss, officially the air department head, mini boss is assistant air department head. They're naval aviators, Navy commanders. They've been commanding officers of a squadron that flew off the aircraft carrier. So they've been doing this business for a long time, been doing it pretty well. Basically the way it works, you come in, you're the mini boss, you're the assistant for 9 to 12 months. Mini boss is mainly worried about the takeoffs up on the front. The takeoff we call a cat shot or catapult shot. The boss is mainly focused on the landings on the back. The landing we call a trap. But if you work on the flight deck, you work for the air boss. So there's 150 or so people working down there in a shift. And the air boss also owns the traffic pattern. So think of a tuna can 2,500 feet tall by 10 miles across, or about 800 meters by about 15 kilometers across. That's the area that comes under the purview of the air boss. So any questions so far? All right, so they have long days up here. So the good news is they get this great office view. The bad news is you get this view 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, peacetime steaming. So how do we get there? We do cyclic flight ops. A cycle is an hour and a half. We do 8 of those back to back. So at the Appalachian High School I went to, that made 12. It takes 2 hours to get ready for the first launch. During that 2 hours, we're refueling the airplanes, rearming them, doing the last maintenance checks. The crews are doing their pre-flying. They're getting spotted on the deck in the appropriate spot. Go flying for 12 hours. Get back to the end of the day, night, whatever happens to be. It takes another hour and a half, 2 hours, wrap it up the end of the day. So that's our 16-hour day. So the farthest way the mini boss get about 8 feet outside the door here. There was a Navy head. That's a bathroom. Otherwise, they're up here the whole time. So there's a runner, brings them their coffee, their bug juice, their hot meals, whatever they need. They do have some helpers up here. So people are up here for one cycle, what we call squadron observers, affectionately known as tower flowers. Well, why tower flowers? Mostly because they just stand around and look pretty. However, so there's one from each of the different squadrons representing each of the different aircraft. So where those plastic panels are, somebody pick up one of those lips at the bottom. If they're on the plexiglass, you run your hand down, you'll feel a little lip. There you go. Lift that up. So underneath there's a NATOS manual. That's the operating manual for the different aircraft. So your buddy takes off, warning light comes on, engine fails, whatever. They break out the manual, do some troubleshooting, get on the radio, run some checklists with you. We'll consult with the air boss. You come up with 1 of 3 decisions. Say, we've got everything under control, we're on a checklist. We'll just make our normal trap landing at the end of the cycle in order. Maybe we've got a little bit of a scenario 2, maybe a little bit of flight control issue, hydraulic problem, something like that. So we'll have to rig the barricade, land into the net, so we'll be the last person to land at the end of the cycle. And scenario 3 is we're just going to top you off with fuel, refuel you, send you on to Hawaii, back to San Diego, something like that. Other people up here, somebody sets a monitor for now lens, the meatball. We set the angle of the meatball so the bottom of the tail hook, where you're in a great big airplane like the E2 right here behind us with the radar on it on the top, or the A4, which is right at the bottom of the island when you got in the line. Bottom of the tail hook would be 12 feet above the flight deck when you're crossing the end of the flight deck, which we call the ramp. So we set that angle here. Down below in the resting gear engines, they set the max landing weight for the airplane. So A6 landed 36,000 pounds. So we'd look for these first 3 needles to be pointing to 36. The 4th one was for the barricade to have their own resting gear engine. Because we had to change these 2 things, we land in groups of airplanes. So Vietnam, we would land all the F4s, reset the 2 things, land the light attack guys, either the A4s or A7s, reset again for the A6s. Every other cycle we'd reset for the E2. He'd be coming at the end of the cycle. That's the highlights what goes on. Any questions for me? Sir?
What's that whistling?
Well, I have no high-end hearing, so I don't know what the whistling noise. Okay, yeah, there's a Mosin's whistle gets ringing, blowing every once in a while. You hear it over the loudspeaker system. Okay, so you go follow me. We're going to go out the door and go across the catwalk. You look down the right, about 85 feet to water. Great big 41 pane on side. Just note where that is when you get back to the parking lot. You can look up and see where you were at 1 o'clock or 1:30. So follow me.
Come on, guys. Here we go. Another group coming in. Right to your left, please. There you go.
Morning, but I'm used to the stuff with rollers, wires. I've seen it before. Yeah, so that's quartermaster's work. Yeah, as opposed to going into the carrier career there. And they're actually, I think they're set up for actually leaving, although just the only thing changes is the turn bearing coming in. All right, are you the last one? Anybody behind you?
Yes.
Alright, so we're now in the chart room, navigation room, chart house. Ship's navigator, another aviator, and so it's ship's squadron Navy commander. The real person in charge in here is a senior chief quartermaster. So quartermaster in the Navy is a navigator. Quartermaster in the Army is a beans baking, supply guy, gives you beans baking bullets every day. And a senior chief in the Navy, that's an E8. It's like a master sergeant, a first sergeant in the Army or the Marine Corps, senior master sergeant in the Air Force. So, who are my veterans in here? Obviously, you two, my active duty folks. Anybody else? Yeah. Oh, you two. Yeah, you're yeah, you're incognito, so you're okay. So, anyway, thank you for your service. So, have you heard the term non-commissioned officers or NCOs? These senior enlisted folks. So, they've got a lot of technical expertise, a lot of experience, management and leadership experience, and they pretty much run the Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Air Force throughout the world. So you've got these generals and admirals that they get the budget, set the policies, but these senior enlisted folks, they provide our freedom every day for not a whole lot of money, and we are lucky to have them. So that's my non-paid political announcements for the Chief Petty Officer of the Navy and the NCOs that they serve. So back to navigation, we've got Yokosuka Bay, Japan upboard. Midway was there 74 to 91. The George Washington's carrier based in Japan now. Farwell, Subic Bay, the Philippines, big maintenance resupply, maintenance, and Liberty Port, my days the Midway. And over to my right on the flight deck side, San Diego Bay, where we are here today. So Japan and the Philippines, the depth of water is displayed in meters. The U.S., the depth of water is displayed in feet. Why is that? Because when I went from 4th grade to 5th grade, the U.S. Congress gave up on the metric system after trying it for 2 years. And we went back to the imperial system, which is feet. However, the British, they even make it more confusing. They don't use feet or meters. What do the British use for depth of water? Anybody know what the Brits use for depth of water? Not feet or meters. Yeah, they use fathoms. And how much is a fathom? Yeah, how much is a fathom? What?
Mr. Spoken.
Oh, it's not.
Anybody got a guess for how much a fathom is?
2 feet.
Fathom is 6 feet. Anybody know what 2 fathoms is called besides 12 feet? Anybody from Missouri? So in Missouri, 2 fathoms is Mark Twain. That goes back to the old canal boat days. So Samuel Clemens, that's where his pen name came from for his author. So that the canal boats do 12 feet. So guys on the front with a pole, it's got a little stripe on it, hits the bottom. He'd yell out Mark Twain, so they know they'd have to flood the canal some more or get in the center of the channel. So back to navigation. Why do we care about feet, meters, or fathoms? Well, Midway, fully loaded for combat, drew about 35 feet. The way we set today, 28.5. So there's some numbers on that chart that are a lot smaller in the meters than 11 in the feet, smaller than the 35. So that's what you need to know what you're looking at. Obviously, fathoms. If you look at the number 8, you hope it's fathoms because then you're good to go. But feet or meters, you might have to do some calculating there. So the other stuff we've got up here, we've got the navigation. So how did everybody get here today? Use your GPS or you walk for the hotel or whatever. That's what we did last days in Midway with a big TV looking thing with our GPS receiver. Before that, satellite navigation, Sat nav, Loran, all these radio towers, all of them. We navigate over. There's Omega. Ship's got its own inertial system. Bunch of other stuff we used over history. Something we've been using since the 1800s, celestial navigation. We shoot the stars. So we do that every morning just before sunrise, every evening just before sunset. So these smart guys in Europe, they track the 57 brightest stars, planets, moons every day of the year where they're in the sky. Put all that information in those brown leather binders over there in the wall. They also created a star finder. So we go up on the roof, we take our pencil, our clipboard, our sextant, that black triangle looking thing, that's our sextant. We got a drawing one up here. And our star finder, go up on the roof, we pick out, it's that little pinky timing, you only see those 4 or 5 stars right before it gets dark or right before it gets fully light. Then pick out your star, and you want one from each quadrant of the ship, so the front to back to right, left. Pick out your star, write down the time, write down the name of the star, shoot the angle above the horizon with the sextant, write that number down. Come back down here, break out the nautical almanac, go to the right star, go to the right day of the year. Do some math from high school you never thought you'd use in this lifetime to correct for the time of day. Plot your 4 lines of position, and you calculate the ship's position within a couple of miles. A couple of miles out in the open ocean is like saying I'm on this little white paint dot in the chart room at Broadway Pier on the USS Midway in San Diego. What I said, you leave San Diego Bay, you clear the last #1 buoy, turn to the southwest, we speed up to 15 knots, that's our most efficient speed, headed towards Hawaii. About hour later we go by San Clemente Island off to the northwest. Next piece of dirt we see is a big island in Hawaii. It takes us 4 days to get there, so it's a big, big ocean out there. So far wall, we've got the ship's course of speed display, got the relative wind direction speed. We like to have 30 knots of wind down the angle deck for flight ups, easier on the pilots, easier on the airplanes. So today we got about 5 knots of wind, 7 miles an hour. So we would turn, that's out of the southwest, we would turn to about west, put that off the left side, speed up to about 25 knots, and that would give us a 30 knots down the angle deck. So, any questions? All right, let's make our way up to the bridge, so follow me. So a little porch area here, we call it Vulture's Row. So there's about 150 people working the flight deck, about 150 people fly all these jets, helicopters, planes and stuff. So that's 300 people, 4,500 people on the ship. The other 4,200 people are here to make that happen, okay? So you're not on the flight deck during flight ops if you don't need to be here. So this is a place where you come and watch flight ops, you're safe, you're out of the way. This is the pose, okay? This is how you do it, you set up here. Your buddies are down there in the hot sun putting in their 16-hour day. They have no appreciation. We call it Vulture's Row because you look like the gargoyles, old buildings in New York and Chicago and stuff like that. So, and this is an alidade. It's a navigation device. You've got a telescope on the top, a compass on the bottom. We use this going in and out of port for get a bearing line. We got one of these on each side. Shoot a known landmark like the Tower of North Island, maybe the end of Point Home or something like that, where there's bearing lines. Gives us a fix. It's within 25 feet or so, so very, very accurate. We do. Let's go inside.
Outside, I'm walking through now, go with the cover. That makes sense. You go out there and move the cover.
Widać.
All right, come on in, everybody. We got the captain's chair on the flight deck side for the commanding officer. We got the gator chair. Gator chair is over on the left side. That's for the navigator. Captain's got another chair back in the back, what we call auxiliary control, AUXCON for short. Up here front where some of us are standing, this little U-shaped area, if it was September in 1945 when the ship first came out of being a new build, we would all be levitating here in the front part. The whole bridge stopped at the baby blue armored steel wall here, what we call the pilot house today. They quickly determined that's not a big enough area to control a ship this size. This U-shaped area was added. This became the standard. So if you look across the bay at the Lincoln and the Roosevelt, although theirs just a little bit bigger, a little bit higher, got that same angled glass, looks just like this up there, just a little bit roomier over there. So the captain's got the same 16-hour days that the Airbus had back in the pilot flight control. Captain of the carrier, you can only do like 18 to 24 months as the carrier CEO, because the aircraft carrier is like a 3-month-old baby for you moms. You know, you never get a full night's sleep ever. Okay, there's 4,500 3-month-olds on board, and they always cause your problem. A lot of stuff's happening. There's other ships out there where we're just flying up in the middle of the night. We're going up, we're refueling, all this stuff's going on. So it's a mentally and physically exhausting job for the captain of the carrier. We went on the show through the captain's officer in the deck. He's got a couple of assistants, so there will be the conning officer. So if you ever watch Star Trek, you'll hear him say Mr. Sewell has the con. So the conning officer gives the orders to the helmsman for the direction, the lead helmsman for the speed. So we cleared the number 1 buoy at San Diego Bay. We want to go to Hawaii, so we're going to turn southwest. We gave the order, works to effect up. Left standard rudder, steady course 240. Engines, all ahead standard. So the lead helmsman and helmsman, they're going to read that back. The helmsman's going to turn the wheel to the left, what is indicating about 20 degrees on the left side. That's about standard. So the rudder's left standard. There's watching the gyro compass spin around. He's got 2 of those, as well as a magnetic compass. About 5 to 8 degrees before he gets to 240. They'll take all that rudder out. So the rudder's amidship. And then we'll wait for the gyro compass to settle out. So we're steady course 240. Meanwhile, the lead helmsman, he's got a gas pedal, what we call the engine order telegraph, this big device here. We tell all that standard. These 2 needles, he'll turn to stand. That's short for standard. When we move those needles, we have a split. That rings a bell down in the engine rooms. They hear that. Like flashes, they look at their engine room, oh, they want to go 15 knots up on the bridge, so they crank up some more steam. When we get there, these other 2 needles, they turn it down below, so this one's at 4 will stop, they will point, and when their needles are pointing to stand, the engines are all ahead started. Notice this very watch stands back by the fan, makes all the announcements you hear during the day. He's also our supervisor up here and our security. Randy Junior Quartermasters, there's a chart table up on the left part of the bridge. They maintain our nav all the time. Also maintains the ship's deck log. With the plexiglass here, we call this the scuff board. That's the surface contacts unknown. The petty officer standing behind it, he goes to school, learns how to print backwards, stands behind it so he's not in the way. So there's a A, B, C, D, that's Skunk, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, that's what we call it. The one we're watching the closest is Skunk Bravo. Why Skunk Bravo? Skunk Bravo, CPA, closest point of approach, or something called CBDR, constant bearing, decreasing range. So at 10:39, we're going to swap paint with Skunk Bravo. Number 1 job for the officer of the deck and the conning officer is not to run into something. So we're going to change course of speed, or look for them to change course of speed well before we get there and avoid that from happening. If we're going in and out of port, we're refueling. The captain, the conning officer, navigator, they're in the little phone booth over here off the on the parking lot side. They have a great view. Let's go. We always refuel on the right side, the starboard side. We always tap the wheel on the right side, starboard side. Why is that? The flight deck's in the way over here on the port side, the left side. You can't see what's going on. So all the port stuff happens on the right side. When we're refueling, there is a picture in the back of the pilot house, shows the Midway refueling. We pull up alongside the tanker. The tanker's typically doing 13 knots. They set a course and speed, so they'll be doing, like even 5 or even 0. They won't do like 273, they do 275, 278, 13 knots. We have to pull up alongside and maintain that position. Aircraft carrier is not a Porsche, it does not turn and stop on its back. So we have a master helmsman, very experienced conning officer around the show up here. That takes us about 6 hours to refuel. So they shoot over 3 lines. On those 3 lines, they pull over some cables, they pull across 3 pairs of fuel hoses, 3 for jet fuel, 3 for diesel fuel. And we might upload 800, 900,000 gallons of diesel fuel for the boilers, maybe 600 or 700,000 gallons of jet fuel for the airplanes. And while we're doing that for 6 hours, the helicopter's flying back and forth, bringing up all the supplies, equipment, spare parts, people, groceries, ice cream, mail, all the good stuff we need. While we do that for 6 hours, while the cruisers, destroyers, frigates, they'll be over on the other side of the boiler, and they take about 2 hours each to refuel. So the last thing we're going to see is the captain's at-sea cabin, where the captain sleeps when we're underway. I call it the 10-year-old's bunk room, little tiny twin bed, so it's not even a Motel 6 back there, let alone the Hilton or a Hyatt or something like that. So, but the captain's got a multi-million-dollar daily budget, 4,500 people responsible for any which can ruin your day. The captain is responsible for every single thing that happens on the carrier, but the captain is physically in control of nothing. So that's why I tell you that, so you can see the glorious bedding gets started. So any questions for me? Yes, sir. There are buttons that turn lights on and off. There's some buttons that will turn some displays on and off, but that's pretty fans. But that's pretty much the limited buttons that actually work there. We just have we like to light it up, make it look pretty for the tours. So anybody else? All right. Thank you for coming today. Let me put my mic down. I'll have you follow me out the back.
What do you think the mid-rats were like on the Midway?
Yeah, it's leftovers. It's like they're every place. It's leftovers. Yeah. A good night you get rollers.
Yeah.
They're sliders.
I remember I had like a late watch. I would like go into the wardrobe and eat my mid-rats alone. Sitting there. I would go to the rest decks and
take it to work.
it's weird.
Wasn't your watch at 17?
It was 5 to 10.
So he's not in the way.
Yeah, let's skip dinner.
Ciekawe, czy stary skręcą.
Nie, bo to jest hydrauliczne tam jest rozcięte.
I gwizda chyba nie.
Thanks for
Kapitana.
But
What, really?
yeah, but 60,000 tons is a lot of Volkswagens if you do the math on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
So
It's
that
pretty
15
crazy,
feet, 18 feet's not so bad when you do that math. So. And 2.3 million gallons of diesel fuel for the boilers, 1.2 million gallons of jet fuel on board. Across the bay, they don't need any diesel fuel, so they carry 3 million gallons of jet fuel, so they don't have to refuel up because the nuclear reactor is refueled once in 50 years.
Oh yeah, we gotta see that.
Dale.
Oh.
Strasznie stroma te schody.
You're not gonna hit your